Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and yesterday and today, I was worn out yesterday, but today I'm worn out too, just getting over the weekend. And actually, I'll tell you the truth. What happened was, I go to my hunt camp, and we built a little bar there at the hunt camp, and the one of the guys wanted me to give him a tequila shot, and then he said, well, you've got to take one too. So the peer pressure was immense. I had a couple of tequila shots, and it at my age, that kind of affects you the next day, or sometimes the next 2 days. So anyway, so here's Stefan Huber, and he's put up, Gary, where are you, Gary? And he's got this. Remember, Bill Hinman signed an affidavit with the court saying that his speech was just his personal opinion, but these, what you're looking at, are all documents from the SEC, and in every one of them, they say they are directing people to the Hinman speech, and they're saying the commission has also publicly recognized Ethereum and its native currency Ether. They're pointing people to that speech from the commission, not from the personal opinion of this guy, and they do it over and over and over. So I think you get the gist of it. All right, let's move along. XRP James, he's the official former Navy SEAL of the Digital Asset Investor channel. And he sent me this from Coinbase. Apparently there were some people that thought that some Coinbase executives had sold some of their shares in Coinbase with knowledge of the Wells notice that they were going to get, that they got from the SEC, and they're saying that that's patently false. I think that it's important to let people know something like this. So they did a whole blog entry on it. Now, here's something interesting. Now, this Ryan Selkis guy is literally the Bitcoin maxi of Bitcoin maxi. So when somebody like this says something like this, he hates Ripple and XRP. But look what he says. He says, finally, this is the big one that caught my eye. No third parties were given a heads up that they believed XRP to be a security. Instead, U.S. platforms were left scrambling to delist after the SEC's guidance, hurting retail investors most. And then John Deaton forwards that, and he says, even more alarming was that Coinbase went to the SEC in January of 2019 specifically to discuss XRP and its intent to list XRP on its platform. Coinbase walked the SEC through its analysis of why it believed XRP was not a security. The SEC said nothing to the contrary. Now, something else before I continue in this video, I'll show you this and then I'll give you my disclaimer again. There was somebody asking about Flare, and Hugo Filion, the CEO of Flare, I forgot to cover this the other day. He said, I know you're a great supporter and thank you. We are quiet because we're in the final stages of launching Songbird. The team is all hands on deck. So this is some good communication here from the Flare CEO. I'm ready to see it. Okay, then I posted this yesterday, eye-opening article from Forbes. Forbes, from what I can tell, is the only traditional financial media outlet who is even some of the time telling you the full story of what's going on in crypto. Now, this article is back from 2018, and it's about Joseph Lubin and his company and all that stuff. The thing that was my attention was drawn to is this right here. He continued as a part of the core group through Ethereum's 18 million initial coin offering in July 2014 and was rumored to be one of the biggest buyers during the token's initial crowdfunding at prices estimated to be well below $1. Well, he said specifically in videos I've shown that nobody bought Ethereum for speculative purposes, for speculative purposes. So if he's the largest buyer, it would be real interesting to see who else were those large buyers, because we know for a fact that some key figures outright said that they bought it for speculation, and he said none of it was bought for speculation. I played you that video. Now, I haven't done Bitcoin Max. He's gone wild in a little bit, so I wanted to show you this morning. Michael Saylor said this: MicroStrategy has purchased an additional 5,050 Bitcoins for $242.9 million in cash at an average price of $48,099 per Bitcoin. I'm not going to read any more of that. You just need to know this guy's all in. And I don't think, and I'll give my disclaimer here, I'm not, and I don't want people to ever misunderstand this, I'm not against anything. I'm not against Bitcoin. I'm not against Ethereum. That doesn't mean I'm not going to tell the truth about what they are and what they're not, or what proof of work is and what it's not. But I don't want any of these things to fail. I want Bitcoin to do well. I want Ethereum to do well. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here quietly when truths are not being told, and I have video evidence right there in your face. I'm going to show it to you, and I'm going to talk about it. This business of just because I've been doing a lot of things where I'm showing you things around Ethereum does not mean I don't want Ethereum to do well. What I want is a level playing field, and I don't want any actors in this space getting away with picking in winners and losers, whether that's the SEC or anybody else. Nobody should be picking winners and losers. That is not their job. You should have a level playing field where everybody is treated equally, and that has not happened in this space, and everybody knows it. And that's why so many people, especially from that are pro Ripple and pro XRP and now Coinbase, so many of these people are on a mission for Congress, SEC, and everybody to right the wrongs and do the right thing. That is what this is about. I want everybody to succeed, but I want them to do it on a level playing field. And I don't want, nobody listening to my voice wants someone that's picking winners and losers, especially if they've got agendas going on behind the scenes and money involved. Now that, you know what that's called, don't you? Okay, so look at this guy right here is I think he's the in-house attorney for Kraken, but he's one of the most respected attorneys in blockchain. And I want you to hear what this is from Bank XRP back on August 8th, 2018. So a couple of months after the Bill Hinman Ethereum Free Pass speech. I want you to hear what this guy says, because this isn't some jackleg. This is an attorney that knows what he's talking about. Listen to what he says.
Of the Division of Corporation Finance at SEC, in fact, said, look, if your tokens are pre-functional, that's a pretty good indicator that they're a security. And he also said that some tokens could change from security when they're pre-functional to a non-security when they are functional. So we view that as a validation
too,
of the process.
Hinman, the SEC official, was referring to these that are sort of in a gray area, and he referred to how much activity of third parties is supporting them, and the more decentralized they are, the more likely it's going to not be a security, i.e. Ethereum. I had the feeling he was talking about XRP. Did you get that feeling too?
No, I didn't. No? I didn't get that feeling. I have great respect for the people at Ripple. I'll say that what Hinman did, and this was of course not the official position of the SEC, but he's an important guy there. He said, look, what the SAFT project said is the line, the dividing line, functionality. It's close, but it's not the whole dividing line. There's more to it. It's functionality plus a few other factors, and we call all of that decentralization. The big factor in decentralization is how many people have these tokens in their hands, how many people are using them. We think that's something that we're pretty well positioned to facilitate at blockchain.
Well, applying that test to where...
Sorry, I had to go away from the computer for a second, so let me start this right back here.
Well, applying that test to where does XRP fit? Is it a security or not?
Oh, I won't opine on whether a particular token is a security or not, but I will say that XRP has demonstrable functional use. At the same time, Ripple,
That's one of the core things the SEC says about XRP is that it has no utility. Here's one of the preeminent attorneys in crypto who's saying it does. And so listen up.
Companies, its affiliates have also advertised it in ways that, well, in a whole variety of ways. So it's a question really of weighing. This is a facts and circumstances based analysis.
He's saying that Ripple had advertised XRP. I'm not sure what he's referring to, but I can tell you who did advertise out the wazoo about their pre-sale, and that's Ethereum. I've shown you their Facebook post where they advertised it on their Facebook, which is in direct contradiction to what Joseph Lubin said you're allowed to do. He said you can't do that, or it's a security.
If you listen to what Bill Hinman said, he said, look, here are all these factors that could weigh in favor of security status. He says, but Ether is not a security. If you look at the Ethereum crowd sale, there's a lot of those factors present. Was that a security? Who knows? It's a fact.
You're damn right it was a security, and they know it.
Facts and circumstances analysis. So if I had to fault the current status quo for anything, it's that there's still a little bit of a question mark in the air around what is and is not a security. But we do know that a big factor of it is, well, exactly what we said it was in our white paper.
All right. So moving along. This is his post after the Hinman speech. So he goes, he said today's speech and gave landmark guidance on token sales. It finally answered the question, when is a token sale a security? It's a really big deal. And I'm going to break it down here. And he says the Ether token, according to the SEC, is not a security. The Ethereum Foundation's sale of Ether, on the other hand, almost certainly was a security. SEC didn't say that last part explicitly, but pretty much laid it out. But anyway, he goes through a whole thing. This is one of the preeminent attorneys in the space. Now, we're told now by Bill Hinman with a signed affidavit in court. And don't forget that part. It was just my personal opinion, but everything else, except for him saying that, the facts and everything else point to the fact that it was not a personal opinion. It was the SEC's official position, and all these attorneys think the same thing. It's not just a bunch of us out here who aren't attorneys who are thinking this. They all thought it. CNBC thought it. They talked about it on their channel. Everybody thought it, and the SEC knew that everybody thought it, and they let them stay with that thought. Why do you think that is? So, SEC goes after Coinbase Lend. Rosalind Layton yesterday mentions how Aave gets a free pass same way Ethereum did. Notice a pattern, and I pulled this. This is a tweet from Consensus News from back October 20th, 2020. The future of Ethereum, fireside chat, Q&A, and here I guess is their sponsors, and one of them is Aave, or maybe they're just people involved. Now this was interesting. I saw this going around today. 1 month before the Hinman Ethereum free pass speech, this is Kavita Gupta, who's one of, she was with Consensus. I don't think she is now. There's Joseph Lubin. This is Eric Schmidt, who one of the founders of Google. And I'm not sure who this is. I think this might be the attorney, Joyce, for Consensus, but don't quote me. They don't have her listed here. And then that's, of course, Vitalik Buterin. I wonder why they were meeting. But this was 1 month before the Ethereum free pass. Now, I want you to see this, because I told you the other day about what Consensus called the Brooklyn Project. I just want to show you a couple of clips from it. This is, the Brooklyn Project was founded in November of 2017. This video is from Lendit FinTech, May 31st, 1 month before the Hinman Ethereum free pass speech. This is Joyce Lai, Law and Technology at Consensus.
My name is Joyce Lai. I'm with Consensus. I'm an attorney in-house within Consensus itself. Which means that I spend the vast majority of my waking hours working in between at the intersection of law and the blockchain technology. For those of you who are not familiar, Consensus is a venture production studio with a focus on the Ethereum blockchain. We currently have about 700 employees in about 28 jurisdictions all over the world. And before I move on further, I should probably say that the views I express here are those of my own and are not necessarily those of Consensus. So the Brooklyn Project is our industry-wide effort to promote responsible tokenization economies that can empower and protect consumers. Also, really importantly, if we can have policymakers understand the technology better and for them to be able to speak about it in a more precise way, in a more accurate way, then hopefully they can make policies and legislation that's more tailored and more fitting for the technology, and hopefully in a way that is not going to stifle innovation, because we want to be helpful here, and we don't want regulation to kind of kill the blockchain technology. We need to let the regulators know that we hear them when they're trying to speak to us through some of their speeches and like existing enforcement actions. The projects that are going to survive in the long term are going to be the projects that share the same goals as the regulators. And what they want is to protect their consumers. And we think that token projects should also strive to achieve that same goal, to the extent that you share these goals with the regulators. That's how we're going to communicate to them that we're listening, that we're actually, we take them seriously, and that we're trying to achieve the same thing that we're doing, and that people aren't necessarily going rogue.
All right, and then this one is pretty interesting right here. Listen to this.
Policy work to be done in the space.
This is the same lady that just spoke in that other one.
Policy work to be done in the space. In particular, one of the initiatives we have is called the Brooklyn Project. You're probably wondering why is the panel's called that, but the Brooklyn Project is the consensus initiative to promote responsible tokenization economies. Basically, it started around November of 2017 when there was a lot of pretty irresponsible players in the industry. It was when Jay Clayton said, all the ICOs that I see out there look like a security. And we thought, we really need to try to move the industry in a proper direction to, take a pause and to really decide for ourselves how we can separate our projects and our company away from the scammy projects out there.
Now, to me, that creates a very interesting timeline, because one of the things that's never synced up for anybody, any of us, is how do you have a chairman of the SEC that says, I've never seen an ICO that isn't a security. So that doesn't sync up with then giving Ethereum a free pass and trying to rationalize it the way they did and say, like Hinman said something to the effect of, setting aside the fact that Ethereum had an ICO or a pre-sale or whatever. Well, setting aside, what do you mean setting aside? Well, how about setting aside XRP or setting aside some of these others, setting aside how some of these others started in their inception? Why are you choosing one to set aside and then you're taking your others you're going after? That's the problem here. We want a level playing field. Look, if you're going to go after one, go after all. And I know what else they would say to that. Oh, well, we have limited resource. Oh, well, please. This is too obvious what's going on here. This is way too obvious what's going on here, I think, to everybody. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. There's a lot of smoke in this stuff. I mean, it's just, all anybody wants is a freaking government that does not pick winners and losers and gives a level playing field and some really clear, tell everybody, most people do not, I mean, the criminals are everywhere, but most people do not set out to break the law, but they need to know clearly what the law is, and it's not, quote, very clear. If it was very clear, then these attorneys it would be very clear to them, and so many of them are like, no, it's not really clear. That guy showed you a minute ago said, no, there's still some, well, if they're saying that, it's not very clear. Thanks for listening.